All right, so let's talk about our settings for the event and how we can review and edit those settings. So the settings for the event are under setup. So we go setup and then we go settings. And then we've got several different things here that we can go through to start to kind of manipulate and change and tweak if we need to. So on our settings page, if it's you'll see your USA Bracketing ID up at the top. You'll have, hey, here's the name of the event. What type of event is it? Is it an individual? I could change it to a multi-duel, a single duel, or an individual and a duel if I was doing all of them at the same time. All right. This is an individual event. I can change my governing body. If it's not Colorado Wrestling, I can click on Find an Organization and then change that to whatever organization I would like, whether it be USA Wrestling or something else. I can look at the facility and then change the facility that the event's going to be hosted at. The time zone of the event, which is very important as you look at your bouts and when their end times are and what the wait times look like. All those are figured out by your time zone of your event. Default gender, is this mainly a male or is this mainly a female tournament? These are really taken into account when you look at the season teams that we start talking about as we get into weight management. Contact email, contact phone, registration URL if you're using an outside source for registration. Pre-registration methods, we're going to use public registration and a team admin invite. Website URL if you have one. Uploading your logo and your event flyer. Your release to the public, which is very important from a standpoint of if you want to lock down your wrestler list or your team list or any of that stuff before the event or before a certain time period, then you can do that there so that people can't see it until it's released. You can add any kind of age groups or event disciplines. So you could do folk style, you could do girls folk style, you could do any of these things. You could take them off if you need to, change those. You can also set your default discipline. If it's a USA Wrestling event, you can put in the event ID. And if you are accepting limited folk style in this event and you're doing registration, you can select that as well right there. Okay. So we can save those results, save that little settings there. And then we can go down the tabs here for ACH. If you're doing registration with us, you're going to have to fill out your ACH information, which you can manage your ACH information by going into your ACH tab with under your account. Okay. But you can select that stuff. You could go to registration and you could look at, hey, when's my entry deadlines? When do I have these things? Because I want to open up registrations, which would also give you a public list, which gives you a whole bunch of other things that we'll talk about later from a registration standpoint. You can also from there go to your bracketing and set your bracketing stuff like, hey, what is my maximum jump seeds? And on these, all of these eyes have different things that will pop up to show you information on what's going on as far as what these events are, or what these fields are. But then what's my maximum seed jump? Do I want to apply a matrix or not as a template? Do I have my bracketing methods? Am I doing a predefined weights or am I doing block bracketing or am I doing scramble pairings? We can choose all those things. How do I want my buys handled? What's my seating codes? Do I want to display my seating codes? If so, where do I want to display them? Okay. So that means if I want to see like on the bracket, this is the first seed, second seed, third seed, you can display those however you like there. And then do I want to link different brackets to pools? Okay. And what that is that's if you have a bracket that feeds into another bracket, you want to show them all on the same page, you can link those together that way. Okay. By allowing that. All right. Once you've set those the way you want, you can save that. Then go to operating and you're looking at your operating, which is, hey, what's my minimum break time? So what's my wait time? We can make it 15 minutes if you would like. What are my mat assignment methods? Am I doing a assign weights to mats or am I assigning matches to mats, which is basically your call to mat situation? So it's like, hey, which of those am I doing? Or you could do both in the same tournament if you were splitting mats and you were doing some assigned to weights, some you were doing call to mat. What's my mat assignment depth? So if I am doing a call to mat, I want to make sure I'm doing set my depth there for that. Live scoring templates. These are just templates that you can read about later and we'll go over, but you could use those if they were available to you if you had already created them. Same thing with your dashboard wrestlers. Now, you can say, do you want to use charts? So that shows the chart name on the brackets. Do you want to use those charts? Especially if you're doing assigned weights to mats. Do you want to utilize mat size scoring? Because you're going to do live scoring. Are you going to stream videos? If so, are you using Flow so you can give us a Flow event ID that we can help you stream to? Are you going to allow challenges? The system actually allows for the logging of the challenges of events, whether it be folk style or freestyle and Greco. You can log challenges from the mat. You can also then upload wrestler data fields, so you can also add some other data fields here as well. Okay. So once I've had all those done, I can save those off. And that's how I would review. You'd want to make sure you're reviewing all your settings under setup and settings, and make sure you get all these reviewed before you start your tournament, so that you make sure that everything's going to run smoothly for you.